Let's get right into it. As always, we're using props.cash to help come up with some quick picks that are going to cash for us. Go ahead and like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Both of those things are greatly appreciated. First player I'm looking at is going to be Hunter Henry, New England. Very underutilized tight end the first couple of weeks for New England. If you notice, in week 1 and 2, back here on 9/18, 9/25, not much from him. Not much at all. The last 3 weeks, we've noticed that, he's had 7 receptions, 5 receptions, 4 receptions. That's because the backup is in there. I think he's heavily relying on Hunter Henry. Targets 7, 5, and 4, and the actual receptions are 4, 4, and 2 in those games. So I think he scored a touchdown in a couple of those games. Matt Jones really wasn't looking his way the first 2 games. I think that's going to change even if Matt Jones is back tonight. It looks like Matt is back tonight. Can't really get a firm answer on that, and Bill is not really letting us know. So we don't know if Zap or Matt is playing. Hunter's numbers are 29.5 receiving yards, 3.0 receptions. If Zappy's playing, I like him to go over the 29 receiving yards and the receptions. And even if Matt is playing, I think he'd go over 3 receptions. So they've been very successful going to the tight end while Matt has been out. For the 7.5 fantasy points, only if he scores a touchdown, which he's done in a couple games here. The last 2 games, I think he scored a touchdown. In the one where he had 9.4 fantasy points, and the one where he had 16.1 fantasy scores, I think he scored a touchdown. I know he did in the last game. So this pick kind of depends on what quarterback is playing. To be straight up honest about it, if Zap plays, I like him for over 29.5 rush yards and receptions. Matt plays, I still kind of like him for over 3 receptions. All right. Second pick I'm looking at is going to be Justin Fields. Looking at his rush attempts. Let's go over to props.cash. Let's go to rushing. Go to Fields. Rush attempts. His prop is 7.5, which is lower than a lot of the books. So 7.5, he's hit that 70% of the time this year. 12, 9, 7, 8, 9, and 11. Let's look over here at defense against a rushing quarterback in Lamar Jackson. The prop was 9.5. He rushed for 11 times. That's really the only rushing QB they've faced this year. Let's look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen's prop was 7.5. He rushed for 6 times, so he went under on that one. Josh Allen game last year, 6.5 was prop. He rushed for 12. That was at the end of the regular season last year. I'm leaning toward over 7.5. I think over here on the books, let's see what's going on over here. Attempts, they got him at 9.2. Line of 7.5. I like it. This line has actually came down. I think it was at 8 earlier, so it's down to 7.5 now. I like Justin Fields to go over 7.5 rush attempts also. The third player I'm looking at comes from Chicago, and we're looking at David Montgomery. And we're looking at his reception yards. His prop is 11.5. Let's go over here to props.cash. Look at the receptions for Montgomery. Reception yards. He's went over that in every game except the Houston game, and I don't think he played the Houston game. So every game he's went over 11.5 reception yards. Even with that other running back in the backfield getting a lot of run action, he's went over 11 and a half. Every game that he's played this season. Let's go over to Action Labs. Let's look at Montgomery. They got him at 14.6 reception yards. And most of the books got him around 13 and a half on the prop. So we're getting a pretty good discount over here at PrizePicks for 11 and a half. I'm sorry, I looked at that wrong. I apologize for that. Looks like between 11 and a half and 12 and a half. Some places got him at 10.5 receptions. And even 11 and a half, you can see it's minus 120. A lot of places minus 122 to go over 11 and a half. So I do like him also to go over the prop of 11 and a half. He's done it in every game that he's played in this season. So those are 3 picks that I like. Go ahead and like, subscribe, drop some, what you're thinking down in the comments. Let me know if you use any of these players. Go back and look at the NBA video from earlier today. Got some NBA picks on there. Get at me on Patreon. Links down in the description. I'm updating that throughout the day. When something happens, line change, whatever I notice, I drop that in Patreon. But that is all I have for today. Until the next video. Peace.